Tune in for some happiness. Tune in for some fun. Tune in late at night. Tune in the sun. This is TFM. Get ready to rock. From AM to PM. Come on. Let's talk.
TFM 95.4.
Let's talk.
Live on TFM and the TFM Facebook page. This is the live feed of TTV. Let's talk.
Hello and welcome to the Midday Update. These are the headlines. New guidelines for Indian expatriates returning from abroad to Tamil Nadu. Ministry of Labour announces availability of jobs at Diwan of Royal Court. Shrimp fishing season starts in Oman. Ministry of Labour discusses plans for job creation, Omanization. Services to be resumed in New Rustaq Service Centre. Oman Container Transport Company ranks 55th globally. Sultan Qaboos University is one of the 1,000 best universities in the world. 19 new flights from Oman added under Phase 6 of Vande Bharat mission. South Korea to extend tighter social distancing campaign for 1 week. BUCK, World Winter Sports Expo sends strong signal of confidence. China forges agreements with 54 countries on mutual recognition of higher education degrees. Philippines inflation rate dips to 2.4% in August. Those were the news headlines. Now we'll move on to weather. We're reporting from this TFM studio in Alkware, and before we give you the weather update, here is a daily tip. If you're prone to sunburns, aloe vera is going to be your best friend. You can use it in the form of gels, lotions, creams. You can also use it as a face mist. You can try that out, but first, the weather updates from Muscat. Oman Meteorology and Public Authority for Civil Aviation have issued an alert which indicates that there will be a reduction in horizontal visibility during fog. Apart from this, we've got clear to partly cloudy skies along the coastal areas of Dhofar and adjoining mountains. The rest of the Sultanate will also have clear skies with the chance of late night to early morning low-level clouds or fog patches over the Oman Sea and the Arabian Sea. Let's take a look at what the temperature is like in the rest of the governorates.
Oman's largest online supermarket now has no minimum order limit. From grocery to household items, Rafiq has everything that you want. Enjoy worry-free shopping with over 8,000 products to choose from and get it delivered straight to your doorstep. Rafiq, you order, we deliver.
Hello and welcome back to the Midday Update. Coming up are the local stories. Indian nationals living in Oman and other countries who are returning to Tamil Nadu will need to follow the new testing procedures put in place by the government as it attempts to stop the spread of the COVID-19. According to the Health and Family Welfare Department of the Government of Tamil Nadu, as part of the new guidelines, all returning passengers who have not undergone a COVID-19 test at least 4 days prior to arrival in the state have to undergo mandatory testing. All passengers who have shown symptoms of COVID-19 and have travelled overseas in the last 14 days must also get tested. The guidelines also state that all symptomatic healthcare workers and frontline workers involved in the containment and mitigation of COVID-19 and all patients of severe acute respiratory infection must be tested. This extends to all those who have come into contact with a person who has tested positive for COVID-19. The tests for these people must be done within 5 to 10 days of them coming into contact with the COVID-19 positive individual. All those who show symptoms of the disease within COVID hotspots or containment zones will also be tested, as well as those who begin to show symptoms after returning from overseas. Tests for the latter need to be conducted within a week after they've shown signs of the coronavirus. No emergency procedures, including deliveries, must be delayed for lack of tests, the guidelines added. For all those returning or travelling to Tamil Nadu from overseas, thermal screening is mandatory. As a transition arrangement, passengers coming through Vande Bharat flights alone will be provided RT-PCR facilities in the airport on arrival for a week, the guidelines added. All asymptomatic individuals will be sent for 14 days home quarantine. If the test result is positive, individuals will be asked to report to medical facility for treatment. Returnees who test positive and present COVID-19 symptoms will be taken to hospital isolation, while those who test positive and are asymptomatic will be admitted to a COVID care center. However, people who test negative but show symptoms of the coronavirus will need to go to a doctor for further medical examinations. The Tamil Nadu government has also issued regulations for those who have very mild COVID symptoms but are eligible for home quarantine. The person should be clinically assigned as a very mild case or pre-symptomatic case by the treating officer, said the advisory. Such cases should have the requisite facility at their residence for self-isolation and for quarantining family contacts. Availability of a well-ventilated single room, preferably with an attached or separate toilet, is needed. A caregiver should be available to provide care on a 24/7 basis. It added, only the assigned caregiver alone should access the patient by taking utmost precautions such as wearing triple-layer masks, maintaining hand hygiene and social distancing. A communication link between the caregiver and hospital is a prerequisite for the entire duration of home isolation. Those cleared for home isolation must also sign an undertaking allowing follow-up visits by medical professions. They will also be asked to download and keep the Arogya Setu COVID-19 monitoring app constantly enabled. The Ministry of Labour has announced the availability of job opportunities at the Diwan of Royal Court. A statement issued online by the Ministry of Labour said that the Ministry of Labour announced the availability of a number of vacancies at the Diwan of Royal Court. Those interested can register and know more details through the Tajneed website, as requests will be received starting from Sunday 6 September until Thursday 17 September 2020. For more inquiries, the call centre can be reached on 800 77 575. The coastal villages of the governorates of Dhofar, Al-Wusta and the South Al-Sharqiya have witnessed energetic activities, expecting a bumper season for the fishery sector. The setting up of fishing seasons is important because it ensures a steady balance in the ecosystem, the reproduction of fish and the preservation of its strategic stocks, in addition to reduce overfishing. The shrimp fishing season is one of the most traditional professions in the Sultanate. Shrimp is one of the crustaceans and economically important species in the Sultanate due to their nutritional value and the increase in its demand in the local and international markets. Shrimp fishing is limited to the artisanal fishing sector, as the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Water Resources is keen that the fishermen of the coastal villages get the utmost benefits. The Under-Secretary of the Ministry of Labour visited a number of establishments in the industrial zone and Sohar Industrial Port to discuss plans for Omanization, replacement and job creation. A statement issued online by the Ministry of Labour said that His Excellency Sheikh Nasser bin Amir bin Al Hosni, Under-Secretary of the Ministry of Labour, visited a number of private sector establishments operating in the industrial zone and Sohar Industrial Port in the North Al-Batana Governorate, where the visit included the OQ Group, Sohar Industrial Port, Vale Oman Company, Jindal Shadid Iron and Steel Company, as well as Majan Electricity Company. This comes within the framework of strengthening partnership and cooperation between the ministry and private sector establishments with regard to the fields of work and employment, the facilities needs of the workforce, and the promotion of job opportunities. In addition to discussing issues related to developing and strengthening labor relations between the government sector and the private sector, it was also agreed during the visit to provide a set of job opportunities in various professional specialities. The services, namely traffic, civil status and residency, will be resumed in the new Rustaq Service Centre on Sunday, the Royal Oman Police have announced. A statement issued online by ROP said that the Royal Oman Police announced that all services will be resumed in the new Rustaq Service Centre starting from tomorrow, Sunday, 6 September, instead of the current existing centre in Al Hazm. Oman Container Transport Company has been ranked 55th globally for its distinction in the size of the capacity for transporting containers with its shipping lines at the Gulf and global levels, according to Alpha Liner, an international index. A statement issued online by Oman News Agency said that the Alpha Liner, an international index specialized in classifying container transport services in the world, ranks the Omani Container Transport Company of the Oman Shipping Company in Asyad Group on the 55th position globally for its distinction in the size of the capacity for transporting containers with its shipping lines at the Gulf and global levels. CEO of Oman Shipping Company said that the credit for Oman Container Transport Company being ranked 55th in the world is due to the planning and continuous commitment of the company's management to develop performance and services. The Sultan Qaboos University has ranked among the 1,000 best universities in the world according to the Times Higher Education magazine. A statement issued online by Oman News Agency said that the Times Higher Education magazine ranks Sultan Qaboos University among the 1,000 best universities in the world for the year 2021. The ranking relies on key indicators with a number of detailed sub-criteria, including the fields of education, scientific research, and knowledge transfer from innovations and patents. The Government of India has decided to add more flights to India from Oman in Phase 6 of Vande Bharat mission. The press release issued by the Embassy of India stated the following. As in case of flights operated earlier under Vande Bharat mission, passenger lists for all the above-mentioned flights will be finalized by the Embassy on the basis of information received by it. Passengers are requested to provide details and confirmation to travel on a particular flight on the online form floated by the Embassy of Vande Bharat mission Phase 6. All such people will be contacted by Air India directly for booking of tickets. The passengers, after registering on the online form, may also approach Air India offices in Rui and Vataya directly to book tickets on first-come, first-served basis. However, priorities will be given to medical emergency cases, pregnant women, workers in distress, senior citizens, as well as to other Indian nationals who are stranded in difficult situations. As per the press release issued, the cost of tickets will have to be borne by the passengers themselves. All passengers are required to confirm acceptance of all conditions of travel, including quarantine requirements in India as well as health requirements in order to board the flights. Following is the list of dates and cities. 14 September 2020, Muscat to Mumbai. 16 September 2020, Muscat to Calicut. You also have another flight on 16 September 2020 to Muscat to Tiruchirappalli. 17 September, Muscat to Chennai. Another flight on 17 September to Muscat to Lucknow or Delhi. 19 September, Muscat to Kannur. 20th September, Muscat to Mumbai. Two flights on 21st September, one to Muscat to Kochi and the other Muscat to Trivandrum. Two flights on 22nd September, one Muscat to Delhi and the other Muscat to Hyderabad. Two more flights on 23rd September, Muscat to Bengaluru or Mangalore and Muscat to Tiruchirappalli. 24th September, Muscat to Lucknow and Delhi and Muscat to Chennai. 25th September, Muscat to Vijayawada or Mumbai. 26th September, Muscat to Kannur. 27th September, Muscat to Trivandrum. 28th September, Muscat to Calicut. Those were the local stories. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with the international stories. South Korea decided Friday to extend the tightened social distancing campaign for one more week through September 13th amid the continued triple-digit growth in daily confirmed COVID-19 cases. Under the tightened social distancing guidelines, only takeaway or delivery are permitted to the restaurants from 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. local time while doing normal business during the remaining hours. Franchise coffee shops and bakeries are banned from doing normal businesses with only takeout or delivery being allowed. Indoor sports facilities such as gym and swimming pool are prohibited from opening. Private cram schools with at least 10 students in Seoul and its surrounding Gyeonggi province are prohibited from performing offline classes, while visits to nursing homes and convalescent hospitals are banned. The government introduced the Level 2 social distancing guidelines in the Seoul metropolitan area on August 16 and expanded it to the entire country a week later. Amid the unceasing spread of the COVID-19, the government launched the tighter social distancing campaign while maintaining the Level 2 social distancing guidelines of the three-tier system. Under the Level 2 guidelines, the indoor gatherings of over 50 people and the outdoor events of over 100 people are banned, while public and high-risk private facilities are prohibited from doing businesses. The Level 3 guidelines ban all gatherings, meetings and events of over 10 people as well as all sports events. All public and private facilities are closed down except for essential economic and social purposes. In the latest tally, the country reported 198 more cases of the COVID-19 for the past 24 hours, raising the combined number of infections to 20,842. The daily caseload stayed below 200 for 2 days, but it continued to grow in triple digits since August 14, owing to cluster infections in the Seoul metropolitan area linked to church services and a massive rally held in central Seoul on August 15. The World Winter Sports Expo 2020 WWSE came at an important time during the global COVID-19 pandemic, and holding the expo in Beijing sent a strong signal of confidence, IOC President Thomas Bach said at the expo's opening ceremony on Saturday. Because of the unprecedented global coronavirus pandemic, we are living with much uncertainty. We are still learning every day about the impact of this global crisis on all aspects of our lives. This is why this year's World Winter Sports Expo comes at an important time, Bach said via video link. Holding the expo in the Olympic city of Beijing sends a strong signal of confidence. The world of sports is ready to contribute to the recovery from the crisis and to rebuilding a more human-centered, inclusive society. Due to the pandemic, this year's expo was held both online and offline. At the expo in Beijing, more than 500 Chinese and foreign brands from more than 20 countries and regions showcased their products and services. As the annual WWSE enters its fifth year, the expo, which is made up of theme forums and exhibitions, served the preparations of Beijing 2022, the development of China's ice and snow industry and the development of winter sports. By bringing together the winter sport industry under the theme of the power of ice and snow, the World Winter Sports Expo is the perfect platform to highlight this important contribution of sport to the recovery. The expo is also an important step as China gets ready to welcome the world's best winter sports athletes in 2022, Bach said. Bach added that he believed the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing would be a unique opportunity to inspire a new generation with the Olympic values of excellence, friendship, respect, and solidarity. To this, Bach added, "The IOC continues to be impressed by the progress of the preparations, and we are all looking forward to writing this new chapter in China's great sporting history." China has forged agreements with 54 countries on mutual recognition of qualifications and academic degrees in higher education, the Ministry of Education officials said on Saturday. China has also established educational cooperation and exchange with 188 countries and regions and 46 international organizations, said Louis Jin, director of the Department of International Cooperation and Exchanges of the MOE. China is the world's largest source of international students, with about 1.4 million Chinese now studying abroad, Louis said at a forum of the ongoing 2020 China International Fair for Trade and Services in Beijing. Meanwhile, an increasing number of foreign students choose to study in China. The Chinese government has set up the Silk Road Scholarship Program to help train talents for countries participating in the Belt and Road Initiative, the director added. Louis said despite the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, China will further deepen cooperation and exchange with other countries in the education sector. The 2020 China International Fair for Trade and Services opened on Friday. A total of 18,000 enterprises and institutions from 148 countries and regions and about 100,000 people have registered for the fair. The Philippines' headline inflation rate for August 2020 dipped to 2.4% from 2.7% the previous month, the Philippine Statistics Authority said on Friday. Dennis Mapa, the Philippine national statistician, said the slowdown in inflation in August was primarily due to the deceleration in the inflation for the heavily weighted food and non-alcoholic beverages, which slid at an annual rate of 1.8% during the period from 2.4% in the previous month. This brings the year-to-date inflation for 2020 at 2.5%, MAPA said. The Asian Development Bank forecast the Philippines' inflation rate at 2.2% in 2020 and 2.4% in 2021. Those were the news stories. We'll be back tomorrow at the same time, so keep watching.
You've just heard the live feed from the TTV studios on TFM 95.4. Let's talk.